come here, do you think this could be one of those, one of those dreams, like? It's a bit odd, like, do you know myself? No, couldn't be, could it? It's not a dream. No. Well, here we are again now. Will you get down out of that, will you? Get down. So, how's she cutting? Now that we've got some of the theory out of the way and we're getting a bit more hands-on with lucid dreaming, these colourful little banners will let you know if the video you're watching contains the foundation level stuff, the tried and tested techniques that'll get you started. Then, once you understand the core concepts and you can try your hand at more advanced practices. Finally, the experimental or lesser known methods that I feel are worth looking into. These identifications will appear at the beginning of each video, as you've seen already, and also on the thumbnails for each episode, which will be sorted into the relevant playlists as they appear for your convenience. So, let's crack on. We're going to start off with two of the most fundamental aspects of lucid dreaming. Now, you can't spell fundamental without mental. There's a reason most of us don't have the natural ability to just lucid dream every night. We're rapidly evolving in a modern world full of distractions, and to get anywhere with our lucidity, we need to make some small but significant changes to our mindset and routine. Now, don't worry, it sounds scary and complicated, but it's not really. And it doesn't have to be destructive either. In fact, you'll feel all the better for it. Deep down, I think we all want to improve ourselves a little, and lucid dreaming is as fun and good a motivation as any. Now, when I say self-improvement, I'm not saying you have to become a holy Joe and reach enlightenment or anything extreme like that, although those bios over in Tibet are fierce mighty at the old lucid dreaming now, to be fair. I just mean little things that end up impacting our physical and mental health in a positive way. I had a bit of a bad dose myself a while back, and this all helped me immensely. Even if you have no interest in experiencing a lucid dream, I recommend everyone gives this a lash for a couple of weeks. I wanted to do two separate videos, but in the end I felt I had to combine them because I wanted to make sure that all you Egypts came away in the end fully understanding both concepts of dream recall and reality testing. Now, some people will just say, start a dream journal. And they're not wrong, but there are many more subtleties that need to be discussed here. So I'm going to categorise the whole lot under dream recall. So just to break it all down quickly. First of all, we have to learn how to remember our dreams. Then we can really get our dream journal going. And of course, not only writing, but more importantly, recalling or rereading our journals, recognising our dream signs, and finally reminding ourselves to reality test, which is kind of its own topic, but it ties into the recall probably more closely than some people realise. Are you all getting excited yet? So, how do we start remembering our dreams? You might even think, sure, I don't dream at all. Or, I grew out of that yonks ago. The fact is, we can have anywhere from 3 to 7 dream periods a night. The average person goes through several 90-minute cycles. Each cycle contains 4 stages, and they go up and down like waves. Stage 1 non-REM sleep, or N1, lasts a few minutes as our heart rate and breathing slows down and our muscles begin to relax. Then stage 2, N2, where everything slows down further, your body temperature drops, and some more complicated stuff happens with your brainwaves, which we're not going to get into in this video. Finally, non-REM 3 is the deepest sleep stage, and you'll know if you get woken up at this point because you'll feel absolutely knackered, like you just went out on the tear with a big bag of cans or something. This is also a crucial stage of sleep for your body and immune system, where tissue repair and cell regeneration occurs. Your body kind of prioritizes this stage in the first few cycles, so for this reason, the rapid eye movement stage, or REM, can only last a few minutes at the beginning of the night. Now, REM is the stage we are most interested in, because that's where the majority of dreaming occurs. You can also guess from the name that compared to the other stages, in REM, your eyes go mad altogether. Your breathing and heart rate also increase and your muscles become paralysed. This is called rematonia, and it's necessary because otherwise we would be acting out our dreams, since the brain is still sending and receiving all these signals that we are familiar with in waking life. As we get later into the night and the body catches up on the deep sleep that it needs, then it goes, sure, let's have a bit of crack now. And you get longer and longer stages of REM and consequently longer dreams. The final stage before you wake up can last between 30 and 60 minutes. Think of the deadly stuff you could get up to in an hour if you were lucid, what? This final REM period is also significant from the point of view of recall because we remember dreams more vividly the sooner we wake from them. It is possible to remember dreams from earlier in the night, especially if you get up to go to the jacks or something. So maybe have a couple of glasses of water beforehand if you really want to make the most of your night. But for now, we'll just focus on that last hour or so as you begin to wake. Anyway, the advice applies the same for any awakening that you have during the night, so you can decide how far you want to take it. Also, I wouldn't recommend setting alarms in the middle of the night to beginners because it's very hard to predict when you'll be coming out of REM, and you don't want to disturb the other more important stages of sleep. As for alarms in the morning, the less disruptive they are, the better. In an ideal world, you don't want to use them at all. But look, sure, we all have jobs and other responsibilities that we have to wake up for. So if you can, at the very least, keep a consistent schedule and sleep for at least 7 or 8 hours, you'll have the best starting point for lucid dreaming and dream recall. Many free alarm clock apps have a smart alarm function that will wake you up more gently over a longer time period, or touchless alarms that will turn themselves off after a set amount of time. I recommend trying these, and I've linked a few in the description, but be careful that you have a backup if you have somewhere important to be, just in case you fall back to sleep. Basically, any movement or distraction as you wake up is detrimental to your dream recall, and you'll find that your memory quickly fades as you roll over, turn off your alarm, get out of bed, etc. So please, tog boge. Take a few minutes just to lie there and allow the memories to come back to you. If you can't remember details, just try and remember a setting or an emotion that you recently felt. Often you'll wake from a dream with a lingering sense of whatever you just experienced, be it physical or psychological, so try to use that to jog your memory. Another little trick if you've exhausted all your other efforts is to gently change your position in the bed. Lie on your back or opposite side from whichever position you just woke up in. You'd be surprised what new information you can glean by doing this. Don't worry if you still can't remember anything at this point. It is normal for beginners and even more experienced dream explorers to not have any recall some nights, but it doesn't have to be in vain. This is where a dream journal can turn disappointment into encouragement. Just write down, I don't remember any dreams today, I will try again tonight. And remember also to follow through with that. And as you go to bed again, make sure to set an intention, I will remember my dreams tonight. When it comes to writing actual dreams in the journal, there's no hard or fast rule. Anything is better than nothing, and everybody will approach it a bit differently. I can give you some of my own recommendations, but a journal is a personal thing, and the main thing is that it's a comfortable and enjoyable experience for you. You can use a paper journal, a computer, or a smartphone app. Again, I've linked a few apps in the description. Try and go for one that has a dark mode built in and also has the ability to collect frequently used keywords that you can refer back to later when we start getting into dream science. That's obviously an advantage of using modern technology over a pen and paper, but to each their own. Let me know in the comments what your favourite method is. If you do decide to go with a book, keep it small to start with. You don't want to be staring at a massive blank page and feeling like an idiot. If you can fill even half a page of small notepad, you'll feel much better about your progress and it will keep you motivated to keep going. You can always move on to a bigger journal when you become more proficient. It's also a good idea to get in the habit of taking notes during the day if it's not something you already do. So keep your phone or a separate journal for writing things as they come to you during the day. Now, I don't just mean dreams, although things during the day can trigger some memories to return, but any old thoughts or ideas that come to you, just jot them down as well. Forming the unconscious habit of pulling that pen and paper out and taking things down as soon as they come to you will help you remember when you wake up in the morning to record those dreams while the memories are still fresh. In fact, any memory exercise, particularly those that focus on perspective memory, will be beneficial going forward. I will cover these in a future video, but if you feel like doing some homework, sure look, I'm not going to stop you. There's this yoke called Google. Just go on there and go ham. Jesus, this is going to be a long one, I think. Now, it's not enough to just write down your dreams and forget about them. You should read back over everything several times. It's especially handy to have a sconce over it in the bed before you drift off. Everybody will progress with their journal at a different rate, but once you have a substantial amount of dreams recorded, we'll say 10 to 20 dreams, then start going back through them again, but this time take note of and highlight any recurring elements. These can be locations, people, themes, emotions, anything at all that appears consistently throughout your journal entries. And like I said before, some of the apps have this feature already built in, so make use of that if you have it. These keywords will become what we call our dream signs. Now, if your recall is particularly good and you have an abundance of these, you might want to focus on the things that are maybe more specific to you and not too general. So for instance, if you find yourself going through a lot of doors in a dream, you might not want that as your dream sign, because then, as you'll see in a moment, you'd have to perform a reality test every time you use a door in real life, and that can be a bit mortifying. Strong emotions tend to work best, so if you find yourself experiencing, for example, anxiety, anger, fear or joy repeatedly in dreams, then using that feeling as a dream sign to prompt reality testing is a good way to go. It also has the added benefit of grounding yourself when in these heightened states of emotion during the day, and just taking a moment to let these feelings pass by and let reality set back in. Finally, that brings me to reality testing, or critical state testing. This is the practice of testing our reality while we are awake, essentially becoming more lucid and aware of our physical surroundings during the day, and being absolutely sure that we are awake in that moment in time, with the hope that it will eventually penetrate into the dream world and bring to our attention that we are likely dreaming. Reality testing is the quintessential mind hack behind regaining our conscious awareness within the dreaming state. It's becoming more and more necessary, unfortunately, as more of us become glued to our screens, burnt out in our 9-to-5 jobs, or just going out and getting plastered every night. I'm not saying that you have to live like a monk, but just taking the time to do several reality tests a day will make a big impact on your dreams over time. So, how do we test our reality? Dreams in their nature are unstable. The brain has a hard time keeping things consistent as you move about to dream. That's why they can often be so frustrating, or why we're always getting lost or losing things in them. We can use this to our advantage though. So a very common reality test, which you might remember from the intro earlier, is the digital clock face. I don't know what it is, but they're just all over the place in dreams. All technology is especially wonky for some reason. If you find yourself looking at a digital clock, look away for a moment and look back. The time might drastically change, or the numbers might become distorted. The same goes for any kind of text as well. If you read something and then come back to it a moment later, it's likely to have changed. Another good one is to look at your hand. You'd think our subconscious mind could remember what a bleeding hand looks like, but no, it's a feckin' idiot, just like the rest of us. You'll often find an extra finger or two in there somewhere, or the hand is swollen or distorted, or your fingers are like elastic. I've experienced all of these, and you'll probably have your own weird quirks. Leave a few of yours in the comments below. Now, if you're talking to someone and you want to do more of a subtle test, look at the colour of their eyes, then look away and look back, or check their shoes. Small details like this will change, especially if you expect them to. Sometimes though, your dream might be particularly stable and everything might stay put. It doesn't always mean that you're not dreaming. It helps to combine a few different tests to be absolutely sure. For example, you could plug your nose while keeping your mouth closed and try to breathe in through it. Obviously, in real life you wouldn't be able to. Well, in a dream you can, and it's feckin' weird. You can and should also perform a mental test, where you try to remember how you got to your current location or what you were doing 10 minutes ago. Dreams often put you in a random scenario and you have no idea how you got there. The most important thing though, while doing any of these tests, is that you perform them thoroughly and thoughtfully. There's no point in just counting your fingers every now and again and just saying, look, sure, of course I'm awake, like. You're better off doing 5 good mindful reality tests than 30 rushed ones. You really have to doubt your reality though. You have to tell yourself that you could very well be dreaming at that moment. And it's not as far-fetched an idea as it sounds, once you understand how real a dream can feel when you are experiencing it. For some reason, we're just hardwired to take for granted that we are awake, so don't be fooled. Looping back to recall and dream science for a second, I recommend reminding yourself to perform reality tests from within the dream journal itself. So, for instance, if you write about a dream which contains something you believe to be a dream sign, tell yourself at the end, the next time I see the dream sign, I will perform a reality test. This will give you a more effective prompt for your reality tests during the day and increase your chances of performing them unconsciously in your dreams. Now, you can set reminders on your phone, but I find that it's still better to just remember to do them naturally a few times a day than to be regularly told to do it by an alarm. You don't want to get in the habit of doing them on autopilot, or this will translate into your dreams and you might not become lucid. A habit you might want to form though is reality testing immediately after waking up. The nose plug is a good one for this, since you don't have to open your eyes or think too much. The reason this is a good idea is because it is very common to have false awakenings. Now, this happens to everybody, more often than you realise probably, but it's not necessarily a side effect of lucid dreaming. We probably just become more aware of them due to our practices. You might even already be familiar with the feeling of getting up, getting dressed to go to work or school or whatever, and then the alarm goes off. Well, feck it anyway. You're still in bed. It's a bit frustrating, but otherwise harmless. If you can catch yourself in a false awakening using a reality test, however, then you're lucid and the dream world is your oyster. Now, remember that sleep can catch you unawares, so ART, always reality test. Now we're shucking diesel, boys. Sorry this video was so long. Thank you for sticking with me. We're only just scratching the surface and I'm probably still leaving out a whole load of stuff about recall and reality testing, but I think this is enough to get you all started for now. If you think I've missed out on something vital though, please share it in the comments to help your fellow Egypts. I also want to hear about your successful lucid dreams, so stick them down there in the old comment section as well, alright, sound lads? And if you ever find yourself struggling in the future, I want you to come back to this video and make sure that you're following all the steps. Don't feckin' come crying to me if you're only half-arsing it and then not having any lucid dreams. Yeah, Egypts. Now, good night. Like and subscribe, I suppose. And the bell, don't forget the bell. Sound.